After doing the basic double tonguing articulation exercise, you'll want to start incorporating your compound tonguing into your scale exercises. And I am a big fan of Taffanel and Gaubert number 4, and I play these in lots of different articulation patterns. And I hope to make another video where I discuss scales, so there will be a lot of overlap here between my scales discussion and my articulation discussion. When I'm practicing my double tonguing and my tonguing patterns on Taffanel and Gaubert, again, I'm always thinking about sound and getting a good, solid, resonating sound while I'm playing with flexibility in the embouchure. And I'm adding to that the articulation. Again, the articulation movement is very tiny, very, very small movement. And also, when you're playing very fast articulation, you don't need to blow a ton of air through the flute. It's easy to overblow, but make sure that you bring everything back a notch when you have to tongue a fast passage. Hold the sound inside your body so that it's resonating in your body, and just let your tongue gently flutter. You don't want to overblow and play, because what's happening is the air is just getting in the way of the tongue doing its job. Pull everything back a little bit. Use a more restrained approach. Keep the sound resonating through your flute so that you have a pretty tone. You don't want to just stop blowing. You don't want to play. That's not going to sound pretty. You need to keep resonating, but you don't need to blow so much. Here's how I do some of my Taffanel and Gaubert scale exercises. First, I'll do different patterns. For instance, I'll do slur 2, then tongue 2. For example, and I will do that for pages and pages. Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka. Now, whenever I play slur 2 notes, I always in my mouth say Tee-Yah, Tee-Yah. The yah on the second note, the note that's being slurred, helps prevent the common mistake of swallowing the second note so that the second note isn't resonating and isn't getting a good tone quality, which is that's swallowing the second note. Instead of Tee-Yah, taka, ta. So if I play my Taffanel and Gaubert in the slur 2, tongue 2 pattern, I'm going to be saying Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka, or Tee-Yah, tiki, Tee-Yah, tiki, or Dee-Yah, daga, Dee-Yah, daga, Dee-Yah, daga, in any of those patterns. And this Tee-Yah, taka, it also helps prevent rushing through the second note, because it's not uncommon to want to just skip over that second note altogether. And this is very true in the Mozart concerto. Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, ta in the G major concerto. So I always am trying to remember to say Tee-Yah, taka, Dee-Yah, daga, one of those patterns. Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka, Tee-Yah, taka. Tee-Yah, taka, ta. I also think it's very important when you're practicing your Taffanel and Gaubert scales to always use a metronome, especially when you're working on articulation and even just for your finger dexterity, because evenness is very, very important. There's nothing worse than hearing scales, either just when you're playing scales or in the repertoire, which aren't even. You don't want to be practicing that way. So always use your metronome so that you're sure that you're being even. After I've played slur 2, tongue 2, then I'll also play tongue 2, slur 2. So the reverse, Tee-Yah, Tee-Yah, Tee-Yah. And again, I'm saying Tee-Yah. Do that for several pages. Then I will play everything double-tongued, each note with a double stroke. And while I'm doing this double-tonguing, there's very little embouchure change. My embouchure is pretty solid and consistent. The change is happening just inside my mouth with the little tiny flutter of the tip of my tongue. Then I'll play ta-ka-ta, tee-ka-ta, ta-ka-tee, tee-ka-ta. Tongue 2, double tongue, and then a single note. Or the reverse. I may also tongue 4 notes and then slur 4 notes.